Disney, what the hell is this? I don't, in principle, have any issues with you reheating some of your most popular films through the lens of modern cinema, since you made your name reheating old myths and legends before you took over the entire world of entertainment, but I do have an issue with how bad they're all turning out. God alone knows why you've allowed Aladdin to be directed by a man who's never made a good big-budget film in his life. King Arthur, Legend of the Board, anyone? Even Lock, Stock and Snatch were close to 20 years ago, and that's pretty much what he's coasted off ever since. The live-action Lion King remake is against the Trade Descriptions Act, it's being made in full CGI, and I'm getting distracted from this latest baffling debacle, which somehow had a bigger budget than Captain Marvel, and is therefore going to make one hell of a splash when it gets declared a bomb in a few weeks. Not enough to do any good, but it's a start. Before I go on, I feel I should clarify that I've never really cared much for Tim Burton. I liked his first Batman movie, and I've sat through bits and pieces of his other films, but he's never really done anything for me. I appreciate that he has a unique style, but it's felt very constrained to him as well, as if he's carved out his little niche in cinema, and he's perfectly happy, thank you very much. But Dumbo is the least Tim Burton film I've seen for a while. Well, I say seen, the film is so dark and grimy to look at that half the time I had no idea what was going on, and the other half I didn't want to. We blow through the 64-minute film we all know and vaguely remember liking in the first 20 minutes, and then we're off. Off to where, I have no idea. This film feels like Tomorrowland, Free Willy, some sort of satire of Disney's habit of buying everything and then stripping it for parts, and a commentary on getting more women into science were all thrown in a blender together. Possibly as a reaction to the fact that some aspects of the original film really haven't aged that well. Oh, and there's a flying baby elephant in there as well, if you're in the mood for some really bad CGI creation. Never for a second looks like it's actually there. I mean, it was never going to look real, but for that amount of money, it could have looked better. Speaking of Dumbo, maybe I'm a gruff old traditionalist, but I always thought that if you were the name of the film, the centre of the plot description on IMDb, the young elephant whose oversized ears enable him to fly helps save a struggling circus, but when the circus plans a new venture, Dumbo and his friends discover dark secrets beneath its shiny veneer. It's all about you, and you're the only character that your corporate overlords bothered to make any merchandise for, then, well, shouldn't you be the protagonist of the movie? As in, you are the centre of the story, you make the key decisions, and experience the consequences of those decisions? I mean, it's only been that way since 526 BC, so you really should have figured out that's how stories work by now. But instead, it's Colin Farrell's character that has the best claim to being a protagonist. He has the tragic backstory: dead wife, can't talk to his kids, lost an arm in World War I, comes home to a circus on the verge of bankruptcy. Oh, did I not mention the legions of pointless human characters? Sorry, I really should have mentioned that. The film has loads of pointless human characters. Farrell's character, protagonist, his two kids, plot device and subtle message, Eva Green as love interest, Danny DeVito as comic relief, and Michael Keaton with a thing on his head as villain, and generic cartoon goons as, well, generic cartoon goons. I'm sure they all have names, but they made so little impact on me that none of them made it into my notes. Besides, I didn't pay my money to see a flying elephant movie with loads of subplots about money worries, warnings about trusting the man, and God knows what else this mess decided to be about for 10 minutes before getting bored and switching focus to something else. One thing I would have liked to focus on is its heart. There's something cold about the film which meant that I couldn't connect with it. It looked awful. Every scene cluttered and unfocused. It's shot really darkly as well. Not as in gritty, but as in dark. No light. It also has that issue of there just being so much CGI that it just stands out. There was no real moment that was allowed to be, to allow us to focus and enjoy the wonders of cinema. Either the editor had been allowed one too many energy drinks, or the director was worried that if we were allowed the time to settle and take in a shot, then we would realise just how bad everything looks. And nowhere is this more evident than during this film's interpretation of the pink elephant scene. You remember them, right? Of course you do. No matter how much therapy you go through, you can never truly forget them. In the original film, they had this amazing 5-minute scene, but here, it feels like the director was going through a checklist of things people vaguely remember liking from the original, and it's edited to within an inch of its life. Instead of being allowed to enjoy this random bit of lunacy, it's simply a few seconds of the pink elephants, then someone commenting on them or simply watching them. It doesn't add anything to the film or provide a respite from what was originally a pretty grim narrative, nor does it allow the director to show us what he can do. It simply appears, kills what little plot movement the film had for a minute, and then we keep chugging along. Another few rounds of the edited scissors wouldn't have gone amiss either. Anything else? Anything else? Oh yeah, the animals can't talk in this one. And the crows, among the few friendly and intelligent characters in the original film, have gone. But to be honest, the last thing this film needed was more speaking parts than subplots, so I'll just chalk that out to Tim Burton being so desperate to make his own version of Jurassic Park that he overlooked the little things. Dumbo is an over-budgeted mess from a director who tried to put a fresh spin on a classic tale, but failed on almost every conceivable level. This film is confusing, uninteresting, awful to look at, and full of characters who couldn't be any flatter if they'd been run over with a steamroller. It needed to be shorter, and actually have its title character be more than a prop or wacky animal sidekick. Seriously, the elephant in Operation Dumbo Drop in 1955 looked better and played more of a role in the plot than this. Finally, Disney, please drop this stupid, lazy and entitled approach to filmmaking. Surely there must be someone in that mass of congealed money with an original idea, because I think you can afford to take a chance or two. Because
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.
One that could talk. Alright guys, haven't done this rating for a long time, but this is a fire film. Do not see this film under any circumstances. There's nothing here. Not even compared to the original, just on its own merits, there's nothing here. But what do you guys think? And which classic childhood film would you like to see remade with today's money and CGI? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.